Welcome to the Bowlers Union, everyone. We have an amazing guest for you today, an absolute fan favourite, the quickest bowler England has ever produced, World Cup winner, Mark Wood. Thanks so much for joining us, Woody.
Hello, lads.
Great to have you on, mate. It's really good to have you on there, and thank you. And I know I had to ask Wilkes to see if you get on here, and couldn't appreciate it more. I've added Chris to this a sixth question, so it's 6 quick-fire questions for you, Woody. Just tell me what you prefer. I've taken my marks down already. Kookaburra or Dukes?
Dukes.
Swing or nip?
I'm going to go for swing.
Pace or bounce?
Yes.
Nick off or bowled?
Nick off. Let's get everybody involved.
Backhand slowy or knuckleball?
I'm going to go for back of the hand. My hands are too small for a knuckle.
Good bouncer or a good Yorker?
Oh, no, beats a good bumper. Let them have it.
Fair play. I thought you'd have gone Yorker. I feel like I
did think that, but I think everybody would associate me with bowling more bouncers because I've actually played test matches where they'll only let me bowl bouncers. So I thought I had to keep with my role in the team to keep. You know, if the captain he has this, I've got to be ready for my role whenever. So bouncer.
Just let's focus on that. So you're not allowed to. You've got to be going bouncers basically. If your role at times.
Yeah, I've played full test matches where I've been the sort of Neil Wagner of England and had to just bowl bouncer after bouncer. I mean, I remember I played a game at Lords, and it was between me and mate Wooksy, green wicket, and they went with me, and I only bowled bouncers, and I was thinking, what am I doing here? Like, surely I've got more to this than this on a green wicket at Lords, but I've played full test matches only doing that.
Jeez.
Did you? Sorry, Keith. Go ahead.
I'll say we're glad. I'm sure Chris will be. I'm glad you've gone Dukes over Kookaburra, especially over here. It just doesn't seem to work.
Well, I think my record might actually be better with a Kookaburra because I've bowled better overseas than in England, especially my Test career. But the fact that it offers you a little bit more, I feel the Dukes is a bowler in terms of swing and maybe a little bit of nip. So yeah, I think every bowler would probably favour the Dukes. I mean, even just fearsome Barks, the Durham destroyer. I think you'd pick the Duke every time to just swing them back in our lads' pads. So I think every bowler's picking them.
Do you know what? It's been a long time since I played Durham, and it was Neil Carter that found this out. I don't know what it is now, but at one point I ended up averaging 15 against Durham.
Yeah, we had a full meeting on you, Barks, believe it or not, on you only, because I think there was 3 years running where I think I was at number 8 or 9, and I was coming in against the first change bowler because you dismantled my top order every time in one spell. So we had a full meeting about you. I remember my colleague had sat down in the meeting saying, right, we've got to get down to them, we've got to use our feet, we've got to try this and that. Lo and behold, I was in against Jean Patel and Boyd Rankin in that first spell again. So that didn't work either.
They're not the greatest people to face, like fresh. That'd be horrible.
You're telling me, mate. I mean, now you say it's giving yourself room, but I'm telling you, I was backing off properly a bit, Boyd, then.
I didn't hear the answer for swing or nip. So I'm guessing you said swing.
I've gone for swing, yeah. Just solely because I'm thinking of like wobble seam. That's not my strength. Like, I think if I can couple pace and swing, that's something that's been more effective for me than the nip. I mean, I'm getting better at it, but naturally trying to keep myself and my wrist behind the ball has been more effective for me.
Nice. I can picture that. That's you at Headingley, isn't it? In a nutshell, bowling at Khawaja, just hooping it, bowling rapid. Love it.
And also, I wanted to just say, you've said nick off or bowled. I think I've preferred bowled. It doesn't have to involve anyone else because there's always that doubt, isn't there? And I do think I've seen it around the counties. There's quite a lot of drop catches coming, and it's not what you're wanting, is it? You find the edge. It's not easy to find the edge. You just want a safe pair of hands, and when it doesn't happen, you've got to keep you calm. You can't show frustration. Back to the top of your mark and hope that you get the next one.
I'm hearing you. I mean, some of my favourite wickets would be bowled, but I thought as a team man, I want everybody involved. A good slip catch, everyone going wild, jumping on each other. I'm just thinking more of the celebration rather than the glory of the pools anyway. But I'm telling you right now, I will take either of them at any point, nicked off or bowled, as long as I've got one in the bag.
Well, that's great. That's great. That's great.
We do it. Where do we go after nick off bowl? We went back of the hand or knuckle, and you've gone back of the hand because you've got small hands.
Yeah, my hands. So I tried for ages with a knuckle slow ball. We worked on it. I even went with the thumb, trying to tuck rather than gripping my top fingers, trying to tuck my thumb under and try to bowl it like that. But my hands are just too small. I've got like tiny hands, and the ball I just kind of grip it well enough to land it somewhere decent. So
Yeah.
I would pick back of the hand.
Fair enough. I think is it fair that that's it's a bit more of a silky ball, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If the back of the hand works, it's an electric delivery. To be honest.
Well, I've been here at Brighton. I've seen Tamal Mills today doing some training, and he bowls it as good as anyone. Like the sort of dip he gets on it and revs. So he's a good one to follow. I think with it, but to be fair, slow balls aren't really me part of my game that I'm really that good at. I've tried over the years with different ones, and it's not really one where I've settled on it and thought that's the one. I think I did in 2019 before the World Cup. We did some stat work on what works for me and what didn't. I think I was going to 14 and over or something if I just bowled pure slow balls. So Morgie was like, "You're not bowling any slow balls this competition. Everything is as fast as you can." So I was like, "That works for me. Absolutely, I'm happy with that."
Yeah, man. To be fair, you think of that. They have some pace in that attack. You and Plunkett bowling rockets, it's proper. Oh, and Jofra as well. To be fair, just Wokesy bowling his nibblers up top. That's it.
I think that we all helped Wokesy in a way because he was so accurate and he would build pressure, and it allowed us to then, charge in and try and make something happen. So he was vital. He was like the best. I mean, I think the semi-final that he just like when he was against Australia, and he was class for us. Wokesy, perfect.
To be fair, he was getting it through in that game. Like that when he nicked Warner off, that's flown through, hasn't it?
Well, of course he was. It was at Birmingham, wasn't it? He's got all his family there and his friends. He's showing off. He's gonna do it up at Durham when it's freezing cold. He has to do it at Birmingham in front of everybody. Oh, he's back to his home ground. His accent gets a little bit stronger. Starts bowling faster.
That's valid. And then before we crack on with some other stuff, bumper over Yorker. That's an interesting one actually, because you've got that ability, haven't you, to reverse swing it at pace too. So you're very partial to blowing some toes off, but you've gone with bumper.
Yeah, I mean, Yorkers are good on it, especially when they come off. But like I said before, probably my role of more bouncers, and the fact that I think if I bowl a good bouncer, probably for me being short and having a bit extra pace, if I bowl a good bumper, it probably brings the other motors whistle in more for me. We're trying to get people trapped in the crease or a nick off. So if I bowl, a good Yorker and all the members are well bowled and all this kind of stuff, it probably doesn't set up my next ball. Whereas if it's a fast bumper, it probably sets us up for the next one.
Totally get you. You know what? I remember playing in a white ball game against you, and I think Durham had dealt with us, and you bowled me a bumper, which I ducked because we were losing the game. I was like, I don't need to be trying to be a hero here. And your teammate Coughlin abused me from deep square. I remember it was one of the angriest I've ever been on a cricket field. When you just want to get out of the game with your body intact and all that sort of stuff. Coughlin chirping me about why I was ducking it. Because I'm batting 11 or whatever here, because getting peppered. Yeah, stinker. But yeah,
I'll apologise on behalf of me and Coggers then. So you owe me at least one now then. So we'll call it even next time when you was running my ears. But I'm telling you right now, I won't be in line. You'll have to aim for the edge of the strip.
I don't think that's going to happen, mate. I don't think that'll be. I don't think I'll be playing against you. To be fair, as much as that would be good fun, I suppose. Dear. But no, yeah, it was. I remember Ian Gould was umpiring, and I was facing James. I don't know how you pronounce it. Wheel.
Wheelie eye.
And he came off, and you came on, and Ian Gould was like right arm. It was like right arm over, just a lot quicker. I was like, damn it, Ian, that is not professional.
He's good crack gunner. I always liked him.
Yeah, he was good value. To be fair, he's probably down. He'll be down at Hove probably this week because he does like some kind of mentoring for umpires. He's always around Sussex, isn't he? So you'll see him this week, no doubt. To be honest.
So, funny to say, right? He's not said it yet, but he was going to ask the question: what point did you really add the extra yards of pace? Because right, was saying, you remember playing you a while back, obviously quite a while back, but
Billericay for Durham twos. It was Essex twos, Durham twos,
and it's like it wasn't like 90 plus. Were you right?
No.
So what happened? Where was there a shift in, or what? That I mean, that might have been a bit of a. You might have been sore that week. I don't know, but
no, absolutely right. I think there was different points in my career where I would say. So probably the first real bit for me was probably about 17. I was more of a batter who would bowl sort of little swingies, and then I had a little bit of a growth spurt. I developed a little bit and started to bowl this yard of pace in club cricket, and then that's when I started getting noticed by Durham. I played for minor county for Northumberland, and then around the Durham time, I was very thin. So I remember when I was first on the staff, I was 67 kilos maybe, or 66 kilos. So I was real small. And then I did a winter away in Australia. That really helped us in club cricket just develop. And I'd gone from a person that could maybe bowl a quick spell or a quick ball to then all of a sudden I started putting together a little bit more. And then when I got on around the England stuff around 2013, so I've been with 23 then, a solid winter of some strength, some good condition, which I hadn't really took seriously before. We were in a Durham dressing room that, I wanted to drink pints and have curries the night before. And, they thought the gym was weak. You should just be bowling. So I didn't have any perception of how to be a pro at that point, really, or that wasn't good for my body to say. So then, after that winter with the England stuff, a fast bowlers program, Kevin Shine and stuff, I went from maybe one quick spell or a couple of quick balls to a bit more consistently bowling fast.
So you're saying that you were 2013, you were saying that you found you really started to take it a lot more seriously and get quicker? Because I remember playing.
Well, I was 23 then, so I did try and do it before. I did try and bowl fast before, but I just don't think my body could take it.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was a late developer anyway, but then about 23, that was probably the time where I went from maybe just bowling like sharp to right now. I feel like a proper fast bowler.
To be fair, I can remember that game, and I think actually, we're talking like 2008 or 9 or something like that. And you were a really nice bowler then.
I just changed my run up then as well to that stop-starty thing.
Yes,
that was
you
around
did.
The
you
time
started
when I'd gone
still.
to the shortened. Yeah, and I just changed that to that run up because I used to have a long run up and meander in and out, and then I went back to that short one to sort of keep everything aligned. And then probably in 2019, so this is a long way forward, I went back to the long run up, and again my pace went up again because of that. I wish I'd done that sooner, because then I went from maybe someone that was again on an international scene, someone that was maybe sharp, to right now I can bowl some proper gas and rev it up.
So can you talk us through why you think the run up has helped you bowl that extreme pace then? Because like obviously I'm sure people can remember you where you stood perfectly still and you sort of charged in, and now you've got a nice is the wrong word because they were both nice run ups, but like obviously now it's more.
No,
of a
you're right. It wasn't nice that first one. I don't know why I stuck with it for so long. I think I was a bit stubborn with it and a little bit worried of changing it when I'd had a lot of injuries and stuff, and thinking, right, look, it's getting us to this level. If I revert away from it, will it, affect my career? Will it make me injured more? But actually, it had the opposite effect. It actually gave me more momentum into the crease. I think just that extra sort of time to gather myself, and so I had extra momentum, but then I also had more time to sort of align myself and not force it. Whereas off the short run up, I had literally no time, and I had to force it with like shoulder, and if I didn't have good rhythm, it was actually quite a gnarly sort of run up in action, because I was trying too hard. I had to force it to try and bowl fast, And with the speed gun, especially in international cricket, it's always there. So I was judged a lot on not just how I was performing, but how quick I was bowling. So that short run up wasn't helping us because I was trying to obviously keep the speed gun high, do my role in the team. But those days I just couldn't bowl as fast as I wanted because it was, restricting us, and I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough rhythm. So then the long run up is just give us so much more freedom and sort of like allowed us to really I guess get the end spectrum of how I can bowl.
How so? I don't know if this is a silly question, and it's great we're getting into the nitty gritty so quickly, but like, what percentage of your max are you bowling every ball? Are you like 100% every ball, or are you in like a 90%, like you say, looking for
No,
rhythm?
I'd say 100% of what I've got every ball. So like I often they talk about like the psychology of bowling. So everybody's different. You two will be different to me, but mine is no matter how the ball's going, I can be tired, I can be disappointed, I can bowl a rubbish ball. But then the next one, I think, right, this is going to be the fastest ball of the day, or this is going to be a rocket, or right, that's it, he's getting at this ball. It's just sort of like as I turn, that's when I sort of slip back into it. You're sort of like disappointed the ball before, I can be tired or can be playing on my mind. But then as soon as I'm on that turn to go back onto me run up again, it's like, right, this is the one, this is going to be a rocket, and I try and psychologically gear myself up for that again.
How have you built the engine up to do that all day?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think experience is one. I think I couldn't have done this like we talked about years ago. It just wasn't in us. A quick spell or a quick few balls, but never longevity. And I think it took us a long time to get a program or a way of dealing things like good physio, icing, strength program, a lot of running, and also this like sort of what I would call is like a fiddly gym session where it's like all these like little single leg stuff or balance work and stuff like that. And it's been a combination of all of this and putting it together. I'd say at one point I did too much weights, so I didn't do enough running. Another point I did too much running and not enough weights. So it was always trying to find that balance because I got injured a lot of like what's going to work for me, what's not going to work. And then once I got the run up right, once I got my prep right, I played a lot more and I started bowling quicker, and having that confidence in my body just meant that I felt I could, do it all day. And I think, and I honestly believe, I truly believe this, that Durham produce a lot of fast bowlers because of the values of the area, and it suits fast bowling. The pitches up there, and it's hard working sort of working class people that if you don't put it in for the team, and you're not giving 100% every ball, someone would pull you up for it and say, look, you're not doing your job, or you're not helping everybody else. And I think that's the way you're sort of brought up. So for me, if I wasn't given 100%, I'd think that I was letting people down. I wasn't providing my role within the team.
That's interesting. I mean, just one question while on about you bowling, giving everything you've got. At what point did you just think, and this is not taking a piss, at what point did you accept just falling over when you bowl sometimes? Because that annoyed me at times.
Yeah, and honestly, it does my head in, but you just have to accept it. Like, there's been times the lads have laughed at us because I'll have me, it's like in the dressing room, you have your pants off where you've just got your skins on underneath. And I'm about to put me white pants on to go and play, but before I do that, I put 2 knee pads on. There's been games where I've fallen over that much, where I've ended up looking like Dwayne the Rock Johnson before I got out and bowl.
Brilliant.
So I've had to put like, and sometimes I don't need it. And in practice, I never ever fall over. You will very rarely see me in a training session fall. But in the match, it must just be that extra 5% or adrenaline or that extra stretch to that knocks us over. But again, in training, I will very rarely bowl flat out every time. So I might be 90%, 85, 80, but or 1 over right up there where I try and push it. But over the years, and again through experience, and this is for me, it might not be the same for everybody, but for me, it's been train in an area where I feel good and I'm happy with my action. And then when it comes to the match, I'll be flying in.
People don't realise how much it actually hurts. I think when you hit the pitch when you fall over, because actually, and you get those horrible burns on your hands, don't you, as well, where you like try and stop yourself.
It takes the top of the skin off, and then you've got bruises, and especially my knees, because you've obviously got the fat pads in there. I mean, knees just swell up, I've got like sort of knobbly knees anyway, so it doesn't help us at the best at times.
Going back to that, you try and 100% ball. I think that's what makes you so watchable and so popular. Like when obviously people see you on the telly for England more than Durham, especially at this stage of your career. But I think people want to see that, don't they, from their bowlers? And and to be fair, Captain Stokes is another good example of someone. It's very evident how hard you're trying. And have you ever been a bowler who's gone through the gears? Because like you swing it like you've got all of those skills. Have you ever been a guy that's kind of like maybe 90% at the top order, then as the ball does less, you sort of start bowling a bit more pepper pot, or has it always just been 100%?
No, majority of the time it's 100% because again that's me rolling out, and I think that especially when you're Durham or England, I'm representing. When I play for Durham, I'm representing the region. When I play for England, you're representing your country. For me, there's no other way in which to operate. You can't not give your all when you're playing for your country. And I think the only time I've ever done it was from a tactical point of view in Pakistan, where for one over we pretended that I was tired. Me and Stokes came up with this master plan with each other, and I was going to pretend that I was tired. So I bowled like this over must have been the slowest over of all time. Like I trudged back my mark and I kept with my hands on my hips and blowing out and looking at the bat as if I was tired. And I'm going to Stokesy like last one. So like I'm like trying to like slow me run up doing and ball within myself. And then he was like, right, this is the one last ball, like as fast as you can. So the last ball again, I'm trudging back. I'm like shining the ball on my pants, and I thought, right, it's going to be the quickest Yorker I've bowled. And I bowled this Yorker, and it was as fast as I could, and I nailed it. And honestly, it's the happiest I've ever been when I thought, I've nailed this plan here. And he just sort of like blocked it back to us and started smiling. And I was like, oh, I've gone through all that effort. We thought it was this genius plan, and it's another dot ball, and it's enemy over. So I have tried that once, but it wasn't very successful.
I reckon a few of those batters in the subcontinent have probably seen that or a version of that, haven't they, for like years? Because I remember Belly
it's not new to them. Yeah, me and Stokesy think it's this master plan, and they've seen it every year when the next nation.
Every other week.
They've started again. Here it is.
Yeah. I can imagine it's like playing poker against people who aren't very good at poker. It's so obvious they're like bluffing or whatever. Someone's just down there. Brilliant. Was that this winter just gone? Because I mean, they're flat out in Pakistan. Are they the flattest you played on?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because sometimes they are flat, but it's hard for the batters to score as well. So actually, like when you're doing the short ball plan and stuff like that, there's no like real pace for them to get onto it. So actually, you want, in a way, when the pitches are slow like that, the bouncer ploy or even like a reverse swing ploy can be really good for you because they're not scoring, and you can set fields where you can sort of limit them down or shut them down in a way. The hardest wickets I feel the ball on the flat wickets are the ones where they just sort of there's no lateral movement and they just sort of skid through. Some of the one-day wickets I've played in sort of northern India, like Dharamshala or somewhere like even some of the English one-day wickets where they didn't have that sort of grass covering, and the sort of or the Caribbean where they almost look like marbly and they just skid through. Sharjah was a bit like that in as well, where there's pace on it somehow, but it's like skid. And it just comes on lovely at the bat, and there's no movement, and it's like I guess bowling in the indoor centre. You just think like I'm absolutely cannon for it here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Sorry, Keith. I've been asking all the questions.
Sorry, this is more just a general question. Who is your favourite bowling partner to bowl with from the other end?
Mine would be Woxie, just simply because I've spent a lot of years in white ball cricket, where I opened the ball just before Jofra came on. It would be me and Woxie who opened the bowling. And I've always think we've complemented each other well. We're good friends. We know each other's games. Didn't get us wrong. And there was a lot of the times, I've bowled with Jimmy and Brody, and that was fantastic. Bowling with Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad. But they were always set in. They were the two opening bowlers for England for years. And it was almost like everybody else was just vying for that one spot to try and get in with them because, you had Stoney, myself, Woxie, Toby Rowland Jones. There was loads of lads coming through who wanted that one that one spot to get in with them. And although it was great bowling them, I've always felt that me and Wokesy have been someone that's kind of gone through a little bit together in the stages together. So we've got to know each other really well, know each other's games well, and he complimented me in the way that he would nip it. He'd be really accurate, and allowed me to just be fast, aggressive, and try and take, I guess, more risks at the other end because his end was tied up.
Sorry, just quickly. When you talk about like being fast, with your mindset, I know you said like every ball's going to be your quickest ball. Are you aggressive with that mindset, or is it just trying to be as fast as you can?
No, I get criticised for being too nice sometimes from my own teammates. If I amount of times I've heard of, well, if I could ball fast, I wouldn't pitch one up, or I'd beam them, or I'd do this, or I'd ball beamers, and I was like, yeah, it's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to prove I'm a good bowler as well. It's not just that I'm a fast bowler. I want to prove that I can bowl other stuff as well. And I think that sometimes was the frustration with the bouncer stuff that I mentioned earlier, because I thought there was times where I've played test matches where that's all I've been able to do. And if that's what the team needs, I'm happy to do it and do what the captain wants. But sometimes I feel like I can bowl better than just doing that alone.
Yeah.
So that's great to hear, right? So then this should mop up a bit about Wokesy and what you've just said there. That spell you bowled at Headingley, or it felt like to me when you and Wokesy came into the team, it really kind of turned the Ashes in England's favour. And you obviously bowled, I don't know what you were bowling, 95 mile an hour plus and swinging it properly. That's got to be up there as one of the best spells you bowled, hasn't it? Like that for the pace and the swing and just, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely, one of the best feelings I've had. Again, there's other times I can think of, Johannesburg, St. Lucia, where I felt a similar feeling where you almost forget where the field is. I'm sure you two have had that as well, where you're so in rhythm or in the zone that almost the field becomes irrelevant, and all you can see is where you're trying to land it or what you're trying to do. And that was one of them days. I was sort of running down the hill. You never feel tired, do you? You don't feel like you want to stop running. You feel free. You don't. I can only speak from my experience of when you don't feel good. You feel tired. You feel heavy. You notice that there's cameras there. You notice there's a big crowd. You want an extra fielder somewhere. But when days like that, it's the complete opposite. Like you feel like I could be playing for my club. Playing club cricket again, growing up, where there's nobody there, and you're just trying to get the wicket of the guy. And of course, it's England versus Australia, so it's a big deal. But I knew 2 days out, we trained at Headingley 2 days out. I bowled on the side of the pitch, not just into a mitt. And I remember saying to Collie, I remember it was so fast this game. I could just feel. I don't know what it was, but I could just feel that I'm on here rhythm wise. And I remember I was picked that game, so McCullum had watched me bowl about 3 balls, and then he just came at me and went, "Right, you ready to bowl some rockets?" And I just went, "Yeah." He went, "Right, you're in." And that was it. That was picked in the Ashes game at Headingley. So nothing too technical, but yeah, it was. I just that spell just one of the ones that I think I'd love to have back again, because it felt really good.
Yeah, it was special, especially the caliber of batters, isn't it? I think that's what everyone enjoys a lot, especially someone like Labuschagne. I'm sure the English public are a bit like, they want to see him get a bit worked over.
The guy that played really well was actually Mitchell Marsh. No, if people forget he got 100. I mean, he got dropped early. Wiz could have had him for next to nothing, but yeah, he played so well. And I remember when I was bowling the team, obviously a Western Australian, they've got the reputation of being good in the short ball and strong hitters of the ball. You try and stay away from that sort of chest nipple area to their waist, because that's their strong point. But I remember thinking, I'm bowling quick here, I fancy it. So I was thinking, I'm going to gun for it here. Like, I don't care if he's Western Australian or not, he's going to get one. And I bombed him, whacked us for 6 into the Western Terrace. And I remember Stokes, he looked at this and went, "Yeah, got you, back on it, top of off, got it." So I thought I'd try my hand here, and that didn't work. But he played really well that day.
Yeah, I remember Wokesy nicking him off. And was it Root that dropped him quite early? Because you got, I don't know, I can't remember what the score would have been, but obviously it would have been just a joke of a start. Then obviously he played exceptionally well, to be fair. You mentioned McCullum there, and obviously I want to include Stokes in this as like the kind of senior figures there. What's their in terms of how aggressive they set their fields and stuff like that, do they kind of just give you free rein to bowl rapid, and they just want to keep the slips in as long as possible? Like, you know what I mean? What's that dynamic like?
Well, I've known Stokesy obviously since he was about 15, 16. I was 16, 17, like I mentioned when I first got in the academy. So I've known Stokesy for a long time. He wasn't actually a very, very smart cricketing brain, very smart even from early on. But you wouldn't have said back then that he was like the brightest lad or the most like sort of tactically. But he's always been cricket smart. And I think he's developed more and more throughout his career. Obviously, he's had big moments, and as a player, you'd probably want one of their moments in your career, and he's had about 7 or 8. So he's been through highs and lows in the game, and I think when you're playing in his team, you recognise that exactly what he's after, very clear, exactly the way that sort of Owen Morgan was in that sense of what he wants from you, and McCullum tries to just take all the pressure off, and that's why he's so well liked, because actually he doesn't want you going out there playing with fear or hanging back. He's like, wants you to express yourself. And sort of from my point of view, he's like, every time I come off it, I mean, I might have gone a 4 over, or and I've not bowled very well, but he'll go, how quick was that ball, or how amazing was that one when it flew through, or can you imagine what that tail enders are thinking? Like, and it's sort of like he does a different spin on it for you that makes you think, you know what, I feel all right here, and I've got value, I can add something to the team. And from Stokes' point of view, because he knows me, he knows that I like to take the piss, take the mick, have fun, and try and sort of like do it that way. So at times he might just even throw me the ball and just go, make something happen for us, Woody. He doesn't actually tell us anything tactically. He'll just set a field and go, right, just make something happen, or it'll be right. We're going to go hard. I want to put this back. I think you'll take him on here. So he's got that lovely balance between having that trust in you and backing you, and also having clear plans, which is really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, so would you say for yourself, obviously,
He too would love to play for him. You know what I mean? I'd imagine as a bowler in the country, honestly, you would love to play for him. He's like, he's an inspiring bloke, and the things he's done. So when you're out there, you'd want to like charge in for him.
Yeah.
Would you say there's like, it seems like there's a lot quicker bowlers coming around, sprouting out of every county and all like on the way to England. Do you think there's a lot more quick bowlers around now than what there was?
Maybe they're just highlighted more, or they're looked after better potentially. Like if the England gets a hold of them, then you're not on that sort of county circuit where you have to bowl at 80% all the time. I'm sure, if it was different now when Wrighty started, you probably get on that county circuit by the end of the summer. Wrighty being a quick bowler, he's probably at 70 or 80%, thinking, well, I cannot physically give it every game because it's county championship, a couple of days off, another county championship, into the one days, into the T20. It's so grueling for our bowlers. I feel it's not like, for example, in Australia where they've got 5 states and they can play the Sheffield Shield to get a little break, then they go in a big bash. The setup's slightly different. So I feel like with our lads, the fast bowling probably wasn't, and don't get us wrong, I'm a fast bowler myself, but sometimes it gets made a lot of, I feel, in England. Oh, we need fast bowlers, but we've got some proper skillful people in this country. It's not just pace. I think, like, I know Jimmy could bowl fast early in his career, same with Brodie, but 2 of the most skillful bowlers, and they weren't 90 mile an hour. So I think we've got to recognise as well that it's not all about pace, and that's probably not what we want to hear when I've come on your podcast, but it's it's got to be a good mix, I feel, of everything within an attack. You've got to have a balanced team, a balanced attack, and I think we've been blessed lately with, we've seen left armers come through, we've seen right armers, we've seen people that nip it, tall guys, so actually having that group has been really nice, that when people do get injured, we've got people to come in.
I mean, I'm really glad you said that, because Sonny bowls at 72 miles an hour from one of the quickest bowlers in the world. That's lovely to hear, mate.
The Durham Destroyer, you'll always have my back, son. Don't worry about that.
Just while we're still on the whole pace, thing, do you feel like there's a pressure on you to all like rock up and everyone just expecting you? Like, I'm not about fans here, expecting to see those high numbers constantly, and if not, then you're not doing what you're there to do.
Yeah, there is that pressure, but ultimately I've got to accept that. That is what I'm doing. That's my job in the team, like, is to bowl fast. And everyone knows that it doesn't just happen like that. We are, I'm not a robot. Like, sometimes I'm out of rhythm, or I might not like that end, or the batter's on top of us. It won't mean that I'll give up or I'll stop trying. It just means that maybe that day I'm not quite on it, or I'm not as good as what I can be. And I think the best bowlers, and I'm not putting myself in this category, but the top bowlers seem to work that out quicker. They sort of adapt, or they find a way of changing the game around, or getting themselves into that space. Your Staines, Andersons, where they're maybe not at their best rhythm, but they still deliver something that's pretty good. So their ceiling is ridiculously high, and I think when I think of myself, there is that expectation to bowl fast. That's what I'm in the team for. But I'd also for myself like to bowl well as well. It's not just about bowling quickly.
100%. Do you
You
have
know, it's like
any?
with a dog stick now. Everyone trains with a dog stick,
Oh,
so everyone gets used to fast, and they can have that bowl machines. They can have all this stuff. All the tail enders, you've got all the gear on now, chest guards, arm guards. So it's actually a little bit different. Where if you don't move the ball, or the pace is proper extreme, then the top batters in the world aren't that bothered by it. Like some of the Aussies, sometimes the quicker you bowl, the better they play.
in terms of obviously you've said you bowl 100% every ball. Do you have any technical like checkpoints that you know what I mean, or cues that you use when you bowl? So it's kind of like it's as quick as I can bowl, but my checkpoints are there, or is it
Yeah.
just
No,
whatever?
you definitely have like let's throw a cliche. You have a process. You definitely have a process. Mine would be obviously trying to feel bouncy in me run up. As I mentioned at the top, I can sort of see the invisible line I'm trying to run down. You two probably both know exactly what I'm on about there. That sort of like pathway of where you see your body tramming towards the stumps. And then mine is sort of like that explosive snap at the crease of my head going towards the target. That's probably mine. When I know that I'm not bowling as well, or if I'm sore, because I've got this big splay where I sweep my foot out when I bowl, I tend to come off quickly to the side, and that's when I'm coming round myself, or my ankle's sore and I'm trying to get off it. When I feel I'm bowling at my best, it feels like I go down the wicket, and that sort of, like every fast ball, I think it starts in the run up, and feeling that sort of bouncy. Sort of, I can feel it now, and I'm sure you two can as well. When you shut your eyes, you can feel that like bouncy feeling of like, right, I'm coming in here, and you're gonna hit the crease hard, and you've got that momentum, and I can feel that when I'm bowling well.
Just hearing you mention just quickly about ankle beads. So obviously you've had quite a few problems with your ankle over the years. I know it's an insane amount of number that you've either had injections or ops. What is it with your ankle that you've had done?
So 3 operations and about 60 or 70 injections. So I reckon I had at one point I was going for them every 3 months, and it was cortisones, Ostenil into my joint, which is sort of like a lubrication. And then it's getting less and less throughout the years as I've getting on, since my ankle's getting used to it and got a bit stronger and more robust around that area. I still get my ankles strapped. I changed my insoles. So you're always tinkering with what you're trying to, I guess, find a way which works for you. Again, people listening, everybody's different, so you don't want to take one person's opinion as that's the right way. But for me, finding a good strap and that offloaded my splay, it didn't stop my splay because I needed that to bowl fast, but sort of stop that crunch into the front part and the back part of my ankle, and then changing my insoles so that they weren't leaning me on that gradient even more. Like, you think of the slope at Lords, I was sort of like landing my foot in that position, as if I was going to bowl down the slope at Lords every time I bowled, which of course when you're slamming your foot is going to end up hurting your ankle. So had a lot of work done there, but at the age I'm at now, you've just got to, I mean, I've got a good routine. I've got to accept some days it's going to hurt, and I might need to rest games, or I might need some stuff done. That's just the way it is.
Do you ever find when you strap your ankle, you refer any soreness upward to like your knee or can't? You know what I mean? Anything like that?
No, I just sometimes when I put my strap on, I feel a bit like Iron Man. I'm like, right, no, I'm ready to go. I'm strapped up, and that's it. That's me cue. But I think nothing feels better than when you first get it on. And you think, right, I feel tight. It feels tight. It feels like it's supporting us. And then nothing feels better than when you finish that ball and you get to take it off. And you're like, oh my god, this feels amazing. But no, for me, with being sort of braced front legger, that strapping, my ankle takes a lot of the blunt, not just my knee. So I haven't really felt it further up the chin, although I've had a recent knee operation. Maybe that's part of it, I'm not sure. But I've always felt like the strapping, I couldn't imagine now ever playing a game without having my ankle strapped. I just couldn't physically do it without having my ankle strapped now.
Wow. I know you strap your ankles sometimes, Keith, right?
I used to. I don't anymore. Basically, I had a few ankle impingements, had a few injections, and decided that I was just going to hit the crease a little bit softer. So I collapsed.
It's the opposite of Woody.
Yeah, I collapsed my knee a little bit more, and and it didn't hurt. So I like
Your first spell, you're up here. By the end, you're like,
yeah. Until I kind of got used to it, and then I started to be able to be a little bit strong on my front leg. But yeah, I had about 2 years of like really collapsing my front leg because I couldn't take the pain. Yeah, some are just built different, mate. That's all. Some people are built different.
Nah, it's horrible, mate, and I feel for you because I mean, we all know what it's like, the three on here. So it's horrible when you get injuries and mentally they play with you. Sometimes you never want to think about the end where you're bowling, do you? You always want to think about the other end where the batter is. And I've had, I've played. I can certainly think of 2 test matches off the bat where I should never have played, and it affects my place in the team. It affects all your teammates because you shouldn't be in the team. You're hurting the team. And there's nothing worse than when you're in the heat of battle and you can't produce what you want and you feel like you're letting everybody down. It's a horrible place to be.
Yeah, that sounds especially like you're saying at test level, that's extra tough, isn't it? If you're carrying a niggle and maybe you can't reach the level you want, but you're bowling at a bloody Labuschagne, Smith, and these blokes, that must be really challenging. What are your thoughts on rotation? And you just mentioned it briefly there. Is that something supporters and fans just have to get used to and deal with? And it's important to make sure we've got the quickest bowlers available.
Yeah, but I think you've got to be careful with it as well, because I think that then breeds a comfort zone or a chance for people to be soft and, I need rested this week. I think it's got to be a conversation with the medical professionals, the coach, the player, the captain. I think it's an all-round decision. I think it's something which I've getting better at speaking up as I've getting older, because when you're young, you just want to play. You don't want to, give your spot up, or you want to prove that you're tough enough to get through it. But actually, it's about not being tough. It's about being smart. But I think that if you've got to be very careful, I think, for people listening to think, yeah, resting's good. And I don't want to come on here and say, oh, resting's good, because I always think that people should try and play if they can. But there has to be a sensible way or a smart way of saying, look, can you do your job? Is it going to affect the team? Is it going to affect yourself? And that's the way you've got to look at it, really. It's no good having you for one spell. You need it by the 3rd or 4th day, where it's red hot in somewhere like Sri Lanka, or so you have to weigh up all these things. So I think resting is good for especially quicker lads, who someone like myself who might need that break every now and again. But I didn't want to come on here and say, yeah, I'm all for it, because I think it's got to be smart.
Yeah. Would you I mean, this obviously you're playing quite a bit and stuff, and obviously, like you said, that you had the odd game on and off and whatnot. Painkiller wise, for those who listen to the podcast, we do say, it's not easy sometimes playing county cricket and taking all different types of painkillers and stuff. Do you find yourself loading up on those quite a bit?
Absolutely. I mean, which fast bowler, there is no way you're getting through a test match without any sort of help, or I mean, I'm glad sometimes I don't have the close up of my eyeballs, because I'm sure sometimes they'll be as wide as my eyes. The amount of times that you need some sort of help, especially like even overnight. I've got my own Game Ready, which you'll both know, a nice machine which I carry around everywhere with us after I play. And almost I have to do that. I'm trying to think what else I would do. Some lads will get like flushes and stuff up in physio. I think sometimes you're just so sore that you just need the old slow release overnight, get some sort of ibuprofen in there, and away you go again in the morning with some more painkillers. But with me, I very rarely would not take something. Very, very rarely. Even in 2020.
You know what? You know what I find really triggering is when you ask a phys for some painkillers and they ask what for. And you're just like, give me the Brufins. It can be for anything, couldn't it?
I remember playing at Old Trafford once, and Wrighty had got me into taking caffeine gum at the right times and stuff like that. So at some points I was like kind of paracetamol, ibuprofen, and caffeine gum. And I kind of went extra hard with the caffeine gum. And I got to a stage where I was flying, like just zoned in, and then started another spell, came back in, top of my mark. My heart was racing and my head was dizzy. And I thought, I've just gone a bit too far here. I've got 2 hours in me, I need to come off. Yeah, it's just, you always push yourself. You've got to, like you say, even for like people who want to rest and stuff, push yourself as far as you can to know what your boundary is. I definitely met that day, and I've never gone there since.
Brilliant. With change of subject again here, Australia looming in the winter and stuff. So will we see you this summer, or are you very much trying to get fit for the winter and stuff? And I guess, how excited are you for that? Because it's going to be pretty epic from what I can see. The two sides going up against each other. It's going to be such a good series.
Yeah, I think the winter's probably bigger picture for me. Like that's the one I definitely want to be there for, and hopefully, if I'm picked, or if they feel like I'm being an asset to the team, then I'd love to be there. This summer, I think I was hoping for the 5th test against India. I don't know when you'll put this out, but obviously we've just had 4. But it's just a little bit too quick. I've pushed my knee hard, and I'm just not quite. It's probably like 2 weeks too early for us to really be ready for that 5th test. So I tried my best to get there, but I just haven't got that volume into us to even in training. So usually, like I mentioned to you before, 80% in training, and then I don't feel like I need loads of games. Like a Wokesil want 3 or 4 championship games. Well, that's not really me. I feel like if my body's good, and I feel like I've trained well, and I'm landing it where I want, and I feel good, then I'm ready to go. But I'm just not quite at the stage where I think, I'm ready to back it up in a test match. So I think I could hopefully, if selected, try and play some ODI cricket or T20 cricket towards the back end. If not, then try and play a county championship game for Durham towards the back end of the year, with then a view of, the Ashes beyond that. So I think it's very exciting. I wouldn't want to, call it and say we're going to get out there and win, but it certainly feels like this time it's going to be a lot more competitive series against Australia. And there's maybe a quiet confidence within our own group that, if we play well, we could certainly, do something special there.
Just so quickly on that, I mean, you put the fear of God into me saying playing county cricket. You don't really need to play against Hampshire if you do. But do you bowl at 100% county cricket? Do you feel that is just you kind of getting the workloads up and getting a feel being out there?
Right, Barks, come on, tell me. What you mentioned your average 15 against Durham. What's your average with a bat against Durham?
I don't know.
It must be at least 60 or 70. I don't think you've ever failed against Durham.
It doesn't matter.
If I play, it's not me. It's not you that should be worried about me. I'm worried about you. So I don't know why you're coming with this sort of stuff.
No.
But yeah, no, I think even if I play county cricket, I'm just somebody that, I might be able to back it off a little bit, but I kind of just gone through the motions. It's not who I am. Like I mentioned before, playing for Durham, you're representing the region, and I still have that pride in myself to want to, give a good account of myself. I might not be in the best of rhythm, or I might not have had much game time, so I might not be at my peak or at my best, but I would certainly not want to try or not give as much as I've got for everybody and myself.
Just quickly, this just came to me, this image. Do you play club cricket, not too far
Yeah,
back?
about 3 years ago, yeah.
Please tell
There
me
was
you
no
went to
games for
most.
Durham. Oh, I physically could not full tick there. That was, I didn't want to take the mick there. So I ran in off my run up, but probably at like 80-90% max. I did not want to fully flush it through there. Or I didn't bowl any short stuff. I didn't try and sort of wang it down as quick as I could. I sort of tried to think of my process cues that we were talking about before and think about that rather than I sort of used it a bit like I would in a training session, like that kind of use it as a feel. There was a kid up in the bat and it was 14 and we couldn't get him out. And I was like, I'm not coming on until this kid's out. But I didn't come on to like the 30 odd over because we couldn't get him out. I was thinking, mate, you're going to have to get somebody to get him out. I'm going to have to come on soon. And this is going to look correct. There was cameras and that there. I was thinking, imagine this is all the news. I come on and hit this, or this poor kid gets hit. And then it's like, I've bullied some 14-year-old lad in club cricket up in like the Northeast. That would look horrendous. So thankfully got out and then I'd warmed up for like an hour and a half. But yeah, thankfully eventually got out.
You haven't come across Sean Longstaff, have you? Because he plays a bit, doesn't he?
Yes, he does, and
He
I've
can
come across
bowl.
him quite a bit. So yeah, he's good, and he's fast. Yeah, so I'm not sure Newcastle United were too happy with him one day. I think he had an ankle injury and he rocked up and started opening the bowling for time off cricket club. But yeah, I would love to when I'm fit do something with him. There's a few at Newcastle had gone to watch the international, and a few of them are big into cricket. So they've got Longstaff, Nick Pope, Lewis Hall, Eddie Howe's a big cricket. So from Newcastle, there was quite a few. And then at Sunderland, I remember I went in because the England doctor, Glenn Ray, he used to work for Sunderland. He's got some brilliant stories on the footballers. But one day I had to go in and see him at Sunderland. And Duncan Watmore was there, who we share the same agent, and Luke O'Nine. And I played in their indoor centre with them a little bit. And it was good fun. It's always nice when you get to go and you see like other people do other sports. And when I was growing up, I played football in the winter, cricket in the summer, and that was sort of doing another sport. I think helped us in my career later down the line. So I now got a pretty good footballer here, haven't we? So it would be nice to see if that helped your career as well.
No, yeah, it did. Having a different sport to play, a different mindset. So coming back to cricket was kind of like a nice eye opener to not be as selfish and kind of more a team environment. But it helped me learn. I learned a lot of lessons through football. But if you do go up again and you want, it's a 3-a-side, mate. Just give me a Wrighty call, the Bowlers Union.
Mate, you're in there. You're in there.
Get us up.
Yeah, I'd have to not invite a lot of the Durham lads, because a lot of them are Sunderland fans, so they'd be kicking the Newcastle lads up in the air, and that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't look good on me. I've brought all the Sunderland lads for a 5-a-side. I hope that's cool. Yeah, that would look good.
I'm an Arsenal fan, and Newcastle are our bogey team at the minute. I feel like they kick lumps out of us. Do you know what I mean? They're quite a big physical team at the minute. I don't know how much you get to see them or whatever, but yeah, it's quite frustrating.
I go to some Newcastle games. Like I mentioned to you before we started that my best friend is a Sunderland fan. My family all Newcastle fans, so I've got the best of both worlds where I can sort of play them off against each other. I grew up a Wimbledon fan, so AFC Wimbledon's my team. I went to watch them last year at Newcastle when they came up for the cup game. Put on my best Cockney accent, so that was a nice day to be back there. I remember my first ever game was Newcastle Wimbledon at St James's Park, and Alan Shearer had just signed for Newcastle. It was his first game. I was sat in the Newcastle end there with my full Wimbledon strip on. I was the only one. Obviously Shearer, and that pointing and cheering. I sat in my seat glum with my arms folded. Mom, Dad, I want to go home. This is rubbish, kind of thing. Spat the dummy out. So yeah, but I tend to go to more Newcastle games now just because it's the closest, and there's a great vibe in the Northeast in general around sport. Sunderland obviously coming up again, and then Newcastle winning a cup and doing so well. So Northeast's pretty good at the minute.
Do the England lads still play football, or is it? It feels like it's almost gone
just
now
pig
from the circuit.
Yeah, it's just pig. Yeah, just a bit of head tennis, getting a bit of flick on your head and that. But believe it or not, me and Wooksy, the older lads in the team, we kind of play obviously with niggles and stuff like that. We never get a game. And Wiz was one of the best players. I used to love playing with him. He was like silk when he on the ball. I mean, he could spread it like jam, left, right, and centre. So I miss watching the Brummy Zizou spread it all over when he used to play. So
Just you talking about supporting Wimbledon and stuff like that. Just a quick one more towards cricket again. Where do you find which ground over here do you find gets you up for it the most? Like fired up to really let rip on the team.
Edgbaston.
Really?
When the Holly stand gets going, it's great. That's great fun to play in front of. I think. Oh, is this controversial? I'll go for it. Controversial, but I think Lords is nice, but it's also very nice for the opposition. So everyone wants to do well at Lords. Everybody, and it's as an Englishman, sometimes it can feel very. You're not allowed to sing in the crowd. The Barmy Army trumpeters not allowed in. Everything's so prim and proper, and the way that they do things, and of course it's iconic and lovely to play there. But from a bowling or an England point of view, sometimes you want that to feel the hostility in the crowd and the opposition feel under pressure, and sometimes it can almost be like, they're getting just as much claps as you.
Yeah. It's quite neutral. It is quite neutral, even when you play a county game there. Like the Middlesex fans clap, like, you know what I mean? It just is, isn't it? Or the MCC or whatever. It's flat though, Edgbaston these days.
It is. I'm trying to think of other grounds around the country where I love playing Headingley as well. I know obviously it probably helps that I've had some good experiences there, but that's always been a good atmosphere. Trent Bridge has felt like some one-day games I've played there has been really good. For me, obviously playing in the northeast, Durham's great, but it's such a big ground that it's hard to create that atmosphere when you could be on one side of the field and it feels like it's 3 acres away and a bus ride to get to the other side. So that's what I think doesn't help Durham. Hampshire sometimes the same because it's a big playing ground. It feels like sometimes the atmosphere is like it's so spread out. The worst one I've played at from when I was a kid was Essex. I got absolutely hammered at that ground.
That's West Ham fans on a Friday night.
Yeah, I got battered at that ground. So that was one of the ones where the atmosphere where I didn't enjoy. And I think the fact I was getting smacked all over was probably not helping. It's just, I remember that they were asking us to sign stuff, and then when I'd gone over to sign, they'd be like, "Hey," and like pull it away and stuff like that. And I'd be like, "What is this place? What's going on?"
That's the worst thing a fan can do, because obviously you go out of your way to sign stuff, don't you? And obviously you're a good person. Most cricketers are good blokes. They want to do that for a fan, and when they like duck out the way and give you the bird or whatever, it's like, what? You can't do anything.
What do you say? You've got nothing to say, have you? You don't say anything. You're just like, oh, well, you've done it. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's well played, isn't it? It's not like you can go in the crowd and have it out, especially at Chelmsford. What about the IPL? What are the atmospheres like at the grounds there? Because you've done two stints or one stint of IPL?
Two stints. One really bad stint and one not so bad, but nothing I've ever experienced. Nothing. There's nothing that can, apart from maybe England, India, and India. There's nothing else really compares. There was a game I played. I was playing for Lucknow against Chennai Super Kings. We were playing at the Chepauk in Chennai. And Dhoni comes out to bat, and it's obviously really loud. It's got like this like warping noise. So because it's that loud, it stops going like to like just like wow 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 wow, and it's so bizarre. So then I have bowled the ball outside off, try to bowl it like wide in the channel so that he has to reach for it and see out his hitting zone. He sliced it our third man and just missed me fielder for 6. So they've gone ballistic. First ball 6. I'm like, it was so close to being out, and it's nearly getting them first ball. So I'm a little bit like, I've gone back to the captain at mid-off, KL Rahul, and I cannot hear a thing he's saying. Like he's like probably 5 yards away from us. I can't hear a thing. So next ball, I thought he was saying, the captain is saying, go short. So I'm like, right, I'll bowl a bumper. So I bowled a bumper, and he has hit this ball, not just like, I'm reckon 12 rows back, easy. Maybe even 15, 20 rows back. Anyway, it's gone miles. To which, like, this noise, so he's obviously hit for 1-6, and they're up for it. But now he's hit 2 in a row, and it's like a noise I've never heard before. It was like a scream of like, I feel uncomfortable. It's that loud. Like, I feel like the alarm's gone off in my house. Like, I've got note on. I'm vulnerable. Like, it's that kind of scared. And then the captain Rahul has now come up to us from mid off to be right next to us, because I'm like, I can't hear what you're saying. I've got my arms up. I'm going, I've got no idea what you're saying. And he went, I said, go again. Ball that ball again.
Oh. So you've served up the opposite.
Yeah. So maybe it wasn't quite what he was hoping for. Maybe that's why I was dropped the game after. But honestly, that is the loudest I've ever heard a cricket match. I couldn't hear a thing. It was ridiculously bad. Not just the fact that it was like a scream, but then it had this like warped effect where it was like you put your ear in front of like into a nightclub speaker as close as you could, and it was just that wow wow wow.
It's probably a bit like Barks's Ford Focus RS back in 2013.
Give it a break, right?
The green machine. Oh dear. How sorry, I'm aware we've kept you a little while here, so we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up shortly. I've got one more thing about the IPL. Really, is obviously the grounds seem to be getting, at least to my eyes anyway, smaller and smaller and smaller. Like, are they? I want to say they're taking the short ball out of the game totally, or what? Like, you can get a good ball in, which would be, let's say you play at the MCG, is out, caught fine leg, caught deep square. And these grounds in India, it's just like, 6 out the ground.
Yeah, and that's what they want, though, don't they? They want entertainment of runs. If like batters will whinge about one thing, bowlers will whinge about the other. For me, the size of boundaries, the pitches are flat. There was a game we played, England-India, at Mumbai, and I've come away, I think, with 8.5 and over out of the game, and felt I'd done an amazing job. India got like 240, and 8.5 and over, and you're thinking, I've done an amazing day. And I was chuffed a bit to how I'd bowled, and it's just simply because, in England you might think, 8.5, maybe a little bit expensive at some grounds, the bigger grounds, Durham, Hampshire, but there, it's like half a hit, and it's 6. Sometimes they don't even get them, and it's going for 6, and you almost want that extra feel there all the time somewhere. You just feel like, I say that, but then you've got someone like a Bumrah who very rarely guns more than 6 and over. So maybe it's just the fact that I'm bang average, and these guys know how to bowl out there, but it certainly feels at times that it's very much against you.
Yeah, he's a bit of a freak, though, isn't he? Come on, like.
He does it in every format.
Yeah.
You're thinking, how, mate? Like, there's one, you give other people a chance, but he does it in every format. Like, he just comes in and he's showing off, and he's showing off. Someone needs to have a word with him and say, look, come on, mate, you've got to make it fair for everybody else. You're making all the rest of the bowlers look bad here. So never mind the batters. What about the other bowlers?
I forgot to mention, actually, quickly before we do wrap up. I saw Joff being interviewed, and it was like, but stay quiet until you hear a bowler that's quicker than you. And eventually got to yourself.
I love this video. I'm glad you brought it up.
And you can see him kind of like,
he doesn't want to admit it, does he? Yes, take it, Jofra.
I was gonna say, is it clearly you are quicker, or is it just?
The reason I love it so much is because he gives me stick all the time when the speed gun comes up. So we used to play in the 2019 World Cup. Be like, one at like, say I've just touched 90, and he'd be like, you just warming up, or you feel stiff today or something like that. My next ball would always go for 4, but it'd be the quickest ball I could bowl because I was so irate with him. So yeah, in the 2019 World Cup we had this sort of like friendly rivalry going on, but since then, to be fair, it's been, I guess, a bit more respectful and trying to like sort of just embrace each other. But yeah, he used to wind me up back then, trying to beat me. So it was nice for me to get one back in on that video where he was looking a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, to be fair,
he did kind of
sorry.
just say, like, yeah, okay, yeah, Woody, I'll give that Woody, but
What have you? I've got written down here. I'm assuming this is right because it's off the internet, so it has to be true. So we got 97.1, which is 156 Ks. So is that is the quickest you bowled so like officially?
No, I've got one at 97.7. So I asked this the other day where analyst guy who was quizzing us, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I think it's 97.1, like you had said." And he had done some delving, and there was a ball apparently at I think it was Melbourne to David Warner that I'd bowled 97.7. And although that's my quickest, I'm here at Brighton. Flintoff is the coach, and he bowled one at 98.1. So every time he walks past us and speeds mentioned, he's like, "Yeah, but it's not 98.1, is it?" Every time
Has
he
he?
walks past us. Yeah.
I didn't realise he bowled that quick.
Yeah, I think even he'd had all them knee troubles at the end, but I reckon he got quicker throughout his career, and that's something that's happened to me as well. I think the older I've got and the more my body's got used to it, the quicker or average speed quicker has been better. And I grew up in Harmy was my hero. He was from my hometown, and he could bowl really quick. And I think even his top speed pips my top speed. So I've still got a bit to go.
I was going to ask you, do you feel, and Wrighty laugh at this, I've always said until literally like my last knee up, I felt like I had my quickest ball in me, which would have been like 81, 82. But do you feel like you've still got your quickest ball to ball in you?
Well, 2 or 3 years ago, I said no, but then I've getting quicker every year. So then, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but I would have, like, even 3 years ago, if you'd said to us, well, you'll bowl a spell where you average like 93, 94, I'd be like, no way. But then, like, I've done that the last couple of years, so then it makes us think, well, maybe I can do it. I'll certainly keep trying to push the boundary, trying to push that speed gun up. I think for any real fast bowler, you look at Shoaib, Brett Lee, Sean Tate, Mitchell Stark, they've all getting up near 100 mile an hour, and I think, I don't know if I've got it in us, but that would be a number that then puts you in history, doesn't it? So yeah. I maybe have to just bowl one ball where I fall over, where I bowl it anywhere I can. Maybe it is a short and wide or something like that, but maybe just one ball where I think, right, that's it. Today's the day. I don't care if I fall over. I'm wanging this as fast as I can, and I don't know if I've got much more in this. That's what people keep saying. Oh, you could do it. I'm like, man, do you know how hard I'm trying just to get it at 90, 92, 93? Like, I've got nothing. I've got nothing left.
Oh dear. Hey, right. So I'd love to have your view on this. Keith and I, a while back, we did an episode where we tried to pick England's all-time test bowling attack. This is from my birthday, so it's from like 1985 onwards. So no like Fred Truman's and that. Right. So we came up with the team, and this is everyone in their peak. Right. We had Anderson, Harmison, Archer, Wood was our 4. What do you reckon?
I'm nowhere near that. I mean, I've thank you so much for putting me in there, but I'm absolutely nowhere near that. I think in the Anderson 100%.
I know you're going to go with Broad, but the reason why I was specifically yourself, because it was about peak, like at the best when they're just on song.
Yeah.
That's why it was like more a shifty, because if you were able to replicate.
Honestly, growing up, and I tried to copy my action on him a little bit, because I used to do all the action to the back garden, but I used to love watching Gough growing up. And I've always felt like even against, some of the best Aussie teams, he would charge in all day and he'd produce magic moments of hat-tricks and stuff like that. So I would want to have Gough in there. Harmison, I'm glad you got an Ashton lad in. The Ashton Express, as he was called, and Mark Stoneman used to call me the Ashton choo-choo train. I wasn't quite the same, so yeah, but I'm honoured that you've got us in there. But I think I'm well down the list, and some of the special lads that have played for England.
Broad's harshly done by there. When we reflect on it, like potentially we should have. I thought maybe Harmison and out Broad in, but either way, you think of like legend.
I've got to have the Ashton lad in there. He's my hero, so I'd have to have Harmy, Gough, Jimmy, and Brody would probably be my 4. I mean, I couldn't imagine ever wanting to face Stephen Harmison, even if he wasn't at his peak. So he'd be in there just for that pace and bounce.
I faced him when he was born about 60 mile an hour, like his very last year, and he hit the splice of my bat at about 60 miles an hour, and my whole body shook. It was so hard, like now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got bounced, didn't he? I can imagine like he'd bowl a good length and it would be like at your nipples. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh my God.
Every ball, yeah, horrible. Ugh.
If just last question, if you could go back in time and give yourself a bit of advice now, as a young, aspiring, quick bowler, what words of advice would you give yourself?
I'd say believe in yourself and practice, and filter out what's useful and what's not. You don't have to listen to everybody. That's advice I'd give my younger self.
That's fair enough.
It's rock solid, isn't it? That rock solid. Yeah. That's 3 bits of advice as well. So everyone's got like a bonus 2 bits
with commas. There's not full stops. They're commas. So I've just tailored it into one long sentence.
No, that's class. Yeah, top draw. Look, we thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate that. Yeah, it's always great when we can get people of your caliber on, and I'm sure Keith's excited about. You know what I mean? When we speak to people like yourself, it makes.
I was in the Bowlers Union. I mean, you always won, Wrighty. I'm sorry I've given you one. So you owe me one, but we need to get the Bowlers Union back together, didn't we? It's sacred, really. It doesn't happen in international cricket where everyone tries to hit us in the face every ball. So I have to give a bit back. So it looks like you owe us a few.
It's not you. It's not you that rolled me. It was Coggers, your mate. That was it. I've nothing against getting a bumper. No. Right. Well, look, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for your time, Woody. And please, if you like the episode, leave us a review. That'd be much appreciated. But we'll until next time. Take it easy.